Produced by Victoire.
Wrestling fashionistas, welcome back to the most styling podcast on the entire YouTube universe. This is Styling the Podcast. I'm one of your co-stars, the Master Emir, along with my co-stars. First at the bottom of the screen, he's a former WWE Tag Team Champion, ladies and gentlemen, a former American Gladiator Champion. He is the stylist, Rico Costantino.
That's me. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Glad to have you here. And I am so excited. We got a great show.
We have a tremendous show. And of course, at the top of our screen, our other co-star, my co-star from Masterclass, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Canada, the bodacious suave, Matthew Jacobs.
How's everyone doing? Glad to be here.
We're
doing great now that you're here.
Yep. Now that you're here, we're doing fantastic up there in Canada. Before we begin, lay the smackdown on that subscribe button. Rico, accentuate that for me.
Lay the smackdown on the subscribe button, hit the like, and share it with your friends because this content is not going to be seen anywhere else.
Absolutely. It's not going to be seen anywhere else. Matthew, we've got our members only section as well. So we need all of our members to hit the join button. If you want to see us uncensored, unfiltered, raw, then you need to become a member of the channel because these episodes, the free episodes, are going to be coming less and less, and our member section will be going more and more. So if you want to see us and all the juicy tidbits, you need to become a member. And it's quite simple. You just hit the join button.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, we talk more in the member section than we do on the free YouTube because we have no limits.
Yeah, that's right.
You got, if you want to hear the true story, hit the member section and you're going to get down to earth wrestling news.
Absolutely. Down to earth news. You're also going to find out a little bit more about Dave Meltzer this week. You want to check in. That was a heated debate, ladies and gentlemen. So you might want to become a member and hit the join. But this is equally going to be perhaps somewhat controversial because we're going to talk about Vince Russo.
Oh,
we're going to be talking about Vince Russo because this week, gentlemen, Vince has jumped back into the game of professional wrestling. He's going to be a head writer for ICW. And to be perfectly honest with you, gentlemen, even though I did not like what Vince Russo did to the late WCW in the late 90s, I will say his ideas are probably 98%, if not 99% better than a lot of the writers out there for wrestling companies. What say you two, gentlemen? Rico.
Bodacious, you first.
Oh, I'm a fan of Russo. I think he's got knowledge for some criteria of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
When he speaks, he makes sense. I mean, I'm not into maybe the Jerry Springer show that was happening in the 90s, but when he can analyze what's going on and has a good brain, I think he's good in my books. You know what? I think he's better than what WWE is doing today. So I think he'll be fine where he is.
No, I agree with you there. Rico, what say you about Vince Russo? Did you ever meet Vince Russo?
I met him once.
Okay. What are your thoughts on him?
I was impressed.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Why?
Vince. Huh?
Tell us why. Why.
Because the way he saw the wrestling business.
Mm-hmm.
He understood characters. He understood storylines.
Mm-hmm.
And in WCW, I think he was held back because of the War Room. And I talked to you both, gentlemen, on the War Room. Mm-hmm. Vince would come up with storylines that made sense, and the wrestlers would go in the room with him and say, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So they kind of stifled Vince's talent, and I think Vince is in tune the wrestling world, as I also believe James E. Cornette is.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate those two don't get along,
Mhm.
and I don't know the reason, but they are both great minds for the wrestling business.
Well, they understand storytelling, characters, and psychology. This is where
Yep.
these other people are failing, and I agree with you. My appreciation for Vince Russo has grown. In fact, I've had communications with him actually over the past year. My appreciation for Vince Russo has grown immensely since really studying and listening to the podcast. Like you said, Matthew, his knowledge is very impressive. He understands what makes TV, where these others, again, they're trying to make it into an athletic sporting outing like the Olympics, which it is not. Not like that other, jabroni Dave Meltzer. But yeah, Vince,
Dave who?
Dave, the boring analyst Meltzer.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
a pissant.
Yeah, well, yeah, we've talked about this at length and at liberty in our members section only. If you want to check that episode, hit the join button. But yeah, when I heard this news about Vince Russo stepping back into it, I was elated, to be honest, because it's going to be interesting. If Vince can take this smaller promotion, right, this ICW, and make it profitable and create great storylines and bring in characters, man, he'll put the other companies to shame.
I agree.
Yep. Yeah. It's
Bodacious. What do you think?
I I agree, and I hope for success. I mean, you don't want, poor poor failure on anybody, but I don't know anything about this promotion.
Hmm.
I don't know nothing. So I don't know how underground they are. Like, do they run venues? Is it in little churches? I have no idea.
they're smaller.
Well,
So
yeah, but I guarantee if Vince Russo is involved, they will come out of the pit and they will be a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, but then next question is why? Why is he doing this actually? To get back in the game?
Well,
Boredom? Like, what's the intent behind it?
Well, it's just like somebody who has a talent, a God-given talent, to be what they're supposed to be. And believe me, I know God-given talents because I've been blessed to do many careers in my life. And it's not without the good Lord above that hasn't guided me. So I'm not saying Vince is a Christian
oh, he is.
or,
He is.
oh, okay,
He is now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
but he's seeing a vision. He is seeing something that's making him come out of the shadows and do something
Mhm.
for the business which he loves.
Yep, yep. You know what? It's funny you mention that because again, Rico, shortly before I met you, God put me back on a trajectory to do this. We're all believers here. Matthew's on a trajectory with us now on the podcast and other things for me personally on the journey. But like when he calls you to do something, to Matthew, to Rico's point, when he calls us, we answer. Like the same for me. I felt passionately about the wrestling industry that there was something missing. And I wanted to be part of the solution of all the combined parts to help it get better. And I felt that call and I hear it. Another guy, Austin Aries. I mean, I got to mention Austin because Austin, to me, a few weeks ago on an MLW broadcast, he said one of the most incredible promos I've heard in a long time where, again, he cut loose and he let his true feelings be known about what was going on in wrestling. And he talked about the art form of it, the art, right? Not the superfluous nonsense. And he does. He tells a compelling story. He tells a compelling promo. And again, he's a man who's gone off on a spiritual quest and come back now with a mission, right? And he's he's like 49, 50 now, I think, isn't he, Matthew?
You know what? I don't know much about him, but I definitely I think in the 40s for sure.
Yeah. So he's come back
sure.
at a later point.
Hey, when did I come back?
You started at 40 and you came back at 63, right? 62, 63 in AEW?
Yep. I think it was 63.
Yep. So, so Vince Russo, again, Vince Russo is probably in his 50s now, I'd imagine. Mid 50s, late 50s.
60s.
60s,
I think he's
Russo.
60.
Okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
Russo's 60. With age come wisdom. So we can't,
Yeah,
he's
but see, he's not physically out there.
right.
He's mentally out there.
Yeah.
And his mental capability outweighs any physical. All he has to do is direct.
Yeah.
And he has to have the freedom to direct. And if the company, whichever he's involved in, lets him use his brain and conduct like an orchestra,
Mhm.
that company was going to rise.
And maybe that's why he's doing it, gentlemen. Maybe the reason he's going to ICW is because of that creative freedom. A lot of people think this, and I will make this statement. A lot of people seem to think sometimes, okay, you got to aim for the number one, the biggest company on earth, right? But at the end of the day, do you really? Because if you're there, do you have creative freedom? Do you have the ability to own and brand yourself? I think there's also a 2-year non-compete clause if you after your contract, which is another 2 years of your life gone. So a lot of guys are picking these other companies that have these other benefits. Sure, you're not going to make as much money, but you're going to have something that money cannot put a price on.
And
Create.
that's what I think Vince is doing.
Yeah.
It's not about money, it's about his talent and what he can do for the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he's making a sacrifice, but he's doing it because he loves the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wants to see it return to its greatness.
Yeah.
And I really respect the man for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because Vince was a top name, but then he got shackled,
And he
beyond
had
his control.
the stigma of WCW, the whole Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan thing. Uh,
Yeah.
so
I think he's starting new.
yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
because when I left wrestling, I was making good six figures. And then when I left, I went to the police work and I was making $32,000 a year
Mm-hmm.
as a beginning police officer.
Yeah.
So money doesn't matter. It's what you believe in.
Yeah.
Eventually, I got promoted and earned what I thought I would earn, but it took hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think Vince is at. He knows what he can contribute. He knows that he is value, but he's willing to go back to the beginning. Willing. And
That's
I
humility.
admire him for it.
Yeah. That's humility. Matthew, so you're anticipating, I mean, obviously none of us have a crystal ball. None of us are psychic. This doesn't happen. Even if somebody tells you it does happen, ladies and gentlemen, ignore it, unless God speaks to you directly. But what do you think, Matthew? Do you think that now, after all these years, the faith, the wisdom, do you think now we can see the version of Vince Russo polished that could turn a corner in pro wrestling?
I really hope so. I hope so first because I don't know if there's going to be conditions just with like cable rights. Sometimes they're a little sensitive of what you can put on TV and all that. But another thing too is I think it's good that he's free and has that range and can just come out and do what he wants, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition out there. You got AEW, WWE. I'm sorry to say, boys, but I think they're in the shits.
Mm-hmm.
And it would just be good. It would be good to see something fresh and hopefully get eyes on the prize.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? Something that I love about wrestling, I absolutely love, and you don't see it no more. Will kayfabe come back?
Well, we know our dear friend Paul London says so, and I believe so too. And we would be remiss if we did not mention MLW, though. Tremendous company, tremendous company. I mean, they've got a great talent roster right now, great production values. I see them as a, like I said, a top, you mentioned some of those other companies right there, Matthew, who are not doing so well. But like, keep your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, on MLW. Go and check them out. They're on YouTube. They're doing some great stuff to look out for. So they are out there.
I
But
hope. I just want to say
when
something.
you
I just want to say something. Rico, sorry,
go
before I
ahead.
lose this, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no.
I just
Go.
want to. I just want to say yes. WWE is super profitable and loaded, and etc. And they're geniuses, merchandising, this and that. But just look at their ratings. The ratings are not very strong, right? But they're making a ton of money off the Netflix deal and this and partnerships and
Because it's already in the bank. It's already in the bank.
exactly. But they could put a shit product on. Wrestling fans are still watching it for some reason, and they're already collecting a paycheck. But to see
Because
maybe
that's
ICW,
yeah, but they're watching it because they've been programmed
Yeah.
to watch it.
brainwashed. There you go,
Yes.
brainwashed.
Yeah. And they're not turning out the product that they need to turn out to keep the audiences. Now, they might be on a high right now, but if you're not meeting the demands of the fans, you're going to drop. And unfortunately, the drop is sudden.
Yeah, Enrico. And I was going to say, like to Matthew's point, everyone's showing this profitability. Well, I tell you what, if I go out and I secure, let's just say, I've got a business, I've built it up. Someone comes in and offers me $5 billion, or whatever. No, I've got a business, and they put on my product. Let's say with the TV, I get a TV deal, right? Okay, so we've got this podcast, Rico. Somebody comes up to us and they says, "Hey, we want to put you on our network, right? But we're going to pump you guys with X amount, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we're profitable now, right? But if we go on their network and we don't give a crap and we're not trying anymore, and our viewers drop and everything else, and we're not selling, you and I don't care because we've already been paid, right? It's the same principle. They've already been paid. Doesn't matter.
Okay. To put it in perspective, WWE Monday night with Prescott
Was what?
was in Prescott.
It
Monday Night
was?
Raw.
Okay.
Yeah. Did I go?
Nope.
Why not?
No
They
interest.
didn't call you.
No, I don't care if they called me. They get the same answer. F you.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not going. I had people around going, hey, WWE's in town. You going?
Mhm.
No,
No.
because I don't believe in the product.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And I have standards. Okay, call me an asshole, whatever you want to call me. But I do not believe in the product, even though I'm a past, whatever. What do you say?
Legend.
Superstar?
A legend.
Legend. Okay. No, I'm not going to grace them with my appearance to bolster their bullshit. Not going to do it.
There you go.
No.
Straight from Rico. Straight from Rico. And I agree, it's again, it'd be a very different story here. Even myself, if we were back in the 90s here or the early 2000s, we'd be singing a whole different tune here because that was a product to get behind. That was a WWE that had friggin' creativity off the yin yang. It was, they cared about families. This new version.
Yin yang?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Did you say yin yang?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did, Rika. But like they cared about families too. They didn't charge people $1,000 to sit at ringside because Vince always kept the prices reasonable to draw in the whole family.
Yep. And that's where they miss Vince.
Yeah.
That's where they miss him.
Yeah.
He was the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Say what you want to say him personally, but professionally, he was a genius.
Yep, he was, man. He was. It was so cool seeing him the other week. He went into court, and I heard him talking to some fans before he went in for that accident he had up in Connecticut. Like I said, personally, I'm not commending him personally, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to trigger anybody out there, but I'm just saying professionally, and like Vince Russo, this is another man coming back who worked under Vince, right? This is not Eric Bischoff. This is Vince Russo who worked under Vince in the 90s, who's matured, who's gained faith, who's gained wisdom. Maybe he can be the one to help build up another company while we've got the likes of MLW. They're doing fantastic. They're red hot. You got this other company now coming out as well, this ICW, see what he can do. It'd be just interesting with Vince back in the fray. Will somebody else come after him? Will MLW or someone else say, hey, Vince, we want you? I don't think he'd ever work with WWE again or AEW because I think he made that clear.
Probably not. Once bitten, twice shy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
But
like I said before,
Matthew, hold on.
Matthew.
No, please, Rico, go ahead.
Okay.
No, go.
I was gonna say, like, I heard through Vince Russo say that Vince contacted him, I think in 2017, and Russo was like, "No, I'm good, thanks." But do you think maybe Triple H or Michael Hayes, Bruce Pritchard would reach out to Russo
What
and
do you
say,
think?
"Hey, that's what I want to ask you guys."
Bruce Pritchard is a piece of crap.
Wow. All right.
Okay. His brother, I love him to death.
Tom.
And Bruce told a very, very untruthful story about me when the Billy and Chuck wedding.
I know it. Can I say it? Because I know it.
Yeah,
to show you what kind
you
of
say
fan I am.
it.
Apparently, he said he slapped you in the face before the live promo because you couldn't get your whatever, you couldn't get ready, apparently. So he says he slapped you in the face to get emotion and get you going.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
people who asked me, I said, well, if he slapped me in the face out of anger, is there a chalk line of his body in the arena? Or is he walking with a permanent limp? And they said, no. I said, then he didn't slap me.
Yeah.
And I challenged Bruce Pritchard to come on Kenny Boland's show and answer to that. Never heard nothing from him. But Tom Pritchard, that man is credible, and I love that man. And if it wasn't for him in the tryouts that I did in Connecticut and Dory Funk and his wife, I probably would have never been a WWE superstar.
Yeah, Tom seems like a good guy. But I think in answer to Matthew's question, I don't think Triple H, I think, like I said, and I've seen I don't know what to call it, the toxic egos that swell in this wrestling industry. And the egos swell in a vacuum of a boggy marsh filled with putrid sewer muck. And I don't
I wish I could answer to that, but you said it all.
I don't think that any of those overinflated egos would ever reach out to Vince because they would never. Here's the thing, Matthew, which you find out in this business quick when you're working it. These guys would rather die than admit that their ideas suck or that they're not as popular as somebody else. They'd rather die. They're sick. It's a sickness. So I don't think that anybody's going to reach out to Vince Russo. Not in that sphere. No.
I hope Vince starts from the bottom.
Yeah.
And works his way up.
Yeah.
And shows everybody he is a talent.
Yes.
That he is worthy of producer, creator, writer, and he needs people to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Vince will succeed. Yeah. I know it. And I'm glad he's starting at the bottom. I really am. Because that's how I started as a police officer. And the only way you know what's going on is if you know every position as you're moving up.
It's the best way to
So
go. It's the best way to go. Honestly,
best way. So
if you get thrust into the limelight or the public image, oftentimes what that can do is delude your mindset into believing in your own hype, thinking that you're better than
yep.
what you are, and that's not going to
And
work.
criticism.
Yeah.
And a lot of criticism.
Yeah.
So if he starts at the top, that he passes everybody. Now you got jealousy, you've got envy, you've got people who he stepped over, you know, with this organization he's going to be in.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that. He's going to start at the bottom and he's going to work his way up and
Yep.
he's going to prove his value because of his mind. He has a wrestling mind,
Yep.
just like James E. Cornette. I
Yep.
know those two don't get along, but I compare them.
And we can't explain it. And we can't explain
Rico, why don't you try and get them back together?
Oh my God.
Come on, Rico. You must have some pull here, no?
I don't know about Jimmy E, because I only know half the story. I wish I could get them together because if James E. Cornette and Vince Russo put their minds together, oh my God, that would be a huge, huge advantage for the wrestling business.
Yeah.
But egos are involved.
Uh,
And you know what ego spells? EGO, right?
Yeah.
You know what it stands for?
Go ahead.
Edge God out.
That's very powerful. I never thought about that. Well, I tell you what, but at least Vince, we know that Vince is a man of God now, and I think that's gonna hopefully he'll stick to his faith and he'll apply that. But I tell you what, if that combination were to ever happen, Jim Cornette and Vince Russo, there'd be a lot of talent finding that. Well, I say talent, I mean wrestlers. Some of them, because some of them, a lot of them, I believe, are talented. A lot of them, I don't think are.
Yeah, but they'll be put in check.
No, they'll be put in on the unemployment line, is what's going to happen.
But they'll be put on an employment line. But I'm telling you, when I was in OVW and James Cornette ran everything, I'm telling you, it was like a well-oiled machine.
Yep.
I'm telling you, nobody crossed Jim Cornette. Nobody.
Yep.
He said, you did. And it was successful. Successful TV, successful house shows, everything. And he handled 3 territories.
Mm-hmm.
3.
That's a lot.
Smoky Mountain.
Yeah. 3.
Tennessee.
OVW, Power Pro, and Heartland.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Cornette just
didn't he have
developed
Smoky Mountain?
No, well, we did Smoky Mountain once.
Well, there was a lot of talent. There was a lot of talent there, right? I know.
Yeah,
but
we went there.
Still.
What was the wrestler's name? I'm having a brain fart. Smothers or
Tracy Smothers.
Tracy
Smothers, right? I remember Mark Henry and I were going to do a show with the Smothers in their territory, and somebody showed up that Jim did not like. And Jim chased him up a silo to the roof with a baseball bat. So he was gonna knock his brains out because of what he did prior. And I stepped in and I said, Jimmy, come on, we got a show. Let him go. Let him stay on the roof. Okay, come on, come back down. And Jimmy listened to me, and we went back down and we did the SmackDown. It was called SmackDown, Southern SmackDown, or something like that. I can't remember, but it was the Smothers Brothers. And we did it, and it ended up making the front page of the newspaper.
Yeah. No,
but Jimmy is passionate, and you can't fault him for that. You really can't.
But you got to have that fine balance, like you said. It's got to be passion you've got to have, but your ego has to be in check. They say, the ego, pride comes before the fall. And there's a
Yeah.
reason it's written in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen, basic instructions before leaving earth. That's what your Holy Bible is. There's a reason it's in there. Is because it doesn't matter who you are or what time you live in. That principle was there. It remained there. It remains today. It will remain when we're gone. If you have too much pride and your ego is too big, you will fall every time.
And that's why I think God put me with Jimmy Cornette
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to level him out.
And it looks like you did from all of the things that happened in OVW.
Yeah. I love Jimmy, and I'm sure he loved me. He was the reason amongst uh, Stone Cold, JR, Danny Davis, and him why I got my job.
That's good. Well, we're glad that you got your job. And I tell you what, as we bring this segment to a close here, I want to give a shout out to Vince Russo. I want to say, Vince, I'm hoping for you to have a great, successful run at ICW. Wish you all the best. Hope that you see this.
Even Odin.
Even Odin.
Even Odin.
Even Odin. Hopefully you can help us turn a curve in professional wrestling along with the other great companies like MLW and bring back some more traditional, real storytelling, real wrestlers, not just five-star Dave Meltzer athletes. None of this nonsense. Real entertainment, the way it was meant to be done. Matthew, any closing statements before I go back to Rico?
Well, I have a question just for you guys, just fast before we close. Let's give honest opinion here about our buddy Russo. I know he gets a lot of flack from wrestlers, but if you forget about WCW, like how do you rate him on the WWF side? How do you guys think he did?
Rico first.
I don't think I was there when he was part of the story writing.
But you were a fan though of WWF at the time. Were you watching wrestling at all, or?
Oh, well, to explain to you, Matthew, I've had a lot of careers. One of them was bodyguarding, and there was times I couldn't watch WWE or F at the time because I was in different countries protecting political people. So I could catch some, I couldn't catch some, but in the 80s, I definitely, and even before the 80s, with the AWA with Vern Gagne, yeah, I was definitely a wrestling fan. I always loved professional wrestling, and I was an Ultimate Warrior mark.
Of course.
And when I worked,
of course.
When I worked in Florida, I worked as a bar back first, and then I became a bartender. And I would paint my face like the Ultimate Warrior, and have the arm strings on my hand, and that's how I'd serve drinks.
Fantastic, Matthew. I know you think this is fantastic.
Yeah, I got to get out of here now. This is terrible, terrible content, boys?
No, but I think what was your question again? Rating Russo, because I was
how do you rate Russo? But don't WCW, because that's not fair. He was handcuffed between Bischoff and Hogan and whatever the political power. But in WWF, do you think he did a decent job? Good job.
I think he was there since '93. I think. He was doing Vic Venom in the magazine.
I think 95.
95. I think his initial ideas, were good because it did turn a curve. I remember 94, WWF took a huge nosedive, massive one. And then it started to kind of rebound in 95.
Because of Vince.
Yeah, because it did. But I think once they got out of control, which could have been Vince McMahon, or I don't know which one it was, but when they went towards the Jerry Springer, I wouldn't rate that high. But I think when he first came in, helping Vince until early 97, I would have rated him at a 10. because if he had anything to do with all those twists and turns and all the angles that they did, I mean, look, the Buried Alive match in your house in '96, Undertaker and Mankind. You had the Vader come in, the Vader invasion, Camp Cornette, the Bulldog, Owen, Yokozuna, all that. I mean, it was good. The hog pin match, Triple H
It was
against,
brilliant.
it was really good stuff. It was
Yeah.
engaging. And again, we often talk about it. I said it on the other show. 1995 WWF versus 2025 WWE. Can't even compare. 2025 WWE totally lost me, totally boring, nothing to it. 95, as abysmal as the attendance records were back then, the storylines were still solid. It was just a changing times. That's all it was. But
Yeah.
I'd rate Vince at a 10 there back then. If he can get back to that kind of storytelling now with his wisdom and faith, I think he'll be over 10. He'll be at whatever the maximum is, 100. I think he'll really do a good job. But I think he's also going to have to clean house a bit. I think he's going to have to clean up some of this trash wrestling, backyard hardcore crap, which is not wrestling. He's going to have to clean that up, get rid of that. He's going to have to scout some new talent, get guys in there that are passionate, that actually look like they care about what they're doing. The guys that can perform theatrically.
Masterclass.
What's that? What did you say, Matthew?
He's going to hire the master class.
He will hire the master.
He's going to hire the master class.
He will hire the master. In fact, you know what? Thank you, Matthew. You know what Matthew just did, Rico? He just
Yeah.
he just coined my new faction, the master class.
The
Thank you,
master
Matthew.
class.
It's the master class will go from the podcast into the wrestling arenas, and we'll have a master class of talent. There you go. Done. Thank you, Matthew. I told you this guy's a genius.
He
So
is.
so
And
Pleasure's all mine, eh?
he is a true fan.
yeah.
He's a true fan and somebody who hasn't been in the business, so he lends credibility to what you and I say. You're coming up. I've been there, done it, and Matt's input just kind of solidifies
Mhm.
what we think. So it's not a biased opinion.
No.
It's unbiased and it's truthful.
Yeah.
That's where I think Matthew comes in very, very importantly.
And we're so happy to have him here. We hope all of you are out there, all of our loyal fans. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, I'm not going to have to tell you again. Smash it right now. I'm going to say subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. It's going to keep highlighting on your cursor right there. Make sure you subscribe.
And I want to say, comment.
Yeah.
Please comment.
Yeah.
We want to know what you want to know. We want to answer questions that you
100%.
have. So comment.
Mhm.
You see the show, okay, comment on it, because we can't go forward if we know we're not making an impact on people. So make your comments, whatever, positive, negative. We don't care. Just give us your comment, and if you want to, suggest subjects you want to talk about. So it would give us more of a forum to broaden our podcast. If we don't have input, we just have to think on ourselves and try to put out what we think you want to know. But if you let us know, we can address your issues. Nameless, name, whatever. If you put in a good suggestion, we will mention you on the podcast saying, hey, so-and-so from so-and-so says this, and wants this question answered. And as myself, the master, and Matthew, bodacious suave, can answer it. And you have 3 different perspectives. And we will answer you honestly. So please comment.
Make sure you comment. That's a good point. That's a good point, Rico.
It's like wrestling. Wrestling's entertaining and engage the fans. Well, we want to engage the fans who watch this too and make them feel a part of it, right? So
Yeah.
Ask away. Our feelings won't get hurt.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
Amir's will get hurt. Tell him he's small. Just tell him he's small.
Maybe my feelings will get hurt, but I tell you what, then you don't want to cross me at a live wrestling show, because then, things will be different.
You're going to
there.
get the glove.
You're going to get the glove. When I start commanding the situation, all bets are off. But I tell you, literally, ladies and gentlemen, you want to hang on to the ape hangers with us with the largest arms in the world, because we are about to ignite. We're about to ignite and rocket into a new direction. Can you feel the rocket jets, the engine, whatever the warrior was saying? We're about to ignite ourselves in a new direction. So you can either come with us or you can be incinerated in our wake. So it's up to you. You're going to hit that subscribe. You're going to hit the join button. You're going to become a member. You're going to watch all our good, juicy topics in there. But until next time, Rico, closing statement.
My closing statement is what your mind can conceive, your heart can achieve.
Amen indeed. And I give all glory to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, his holy name. Until next time, everybody, this has been Stylin'. I am the Master Amir. This is the stylist Rico Costantino. This is the bodacious, suave Matthew Jacobs. We'll see you on the next one. God bless.
Fans, the time has come for you to flex your appreciation in style. The Masters of Wrestling delivers the most truthful pro wrestling content week in, week out. And now we want you to show your support wherever you go. Power and Glory, the podcast t-shirts. Order yours now. Stylin', the podcast t-shirts. Order yours now. To order your t-shirt and for shipping information, use the email address in the description of this video. The Masters of Wrestling. Order your t-shirts now.